Welcome back, gamers, to another episode of the Slow Runcast. I am your host, Iraqi Balboa, and I am joined by my friend and co-host, the Forever Darwinator, Darwin Luke. How's it going, my man?
What's up? What's up?
Come on, man. Bring the excitement.
I
There's
can't
a
be
new
excited.
Terminator. There's a new Terminator game coming out in September, 2D. So
I gotta play that one then.
you should be, yeah, man.
I'll do a review on that one. Even though 2D games are, I get bored.
Really?
Yeah.
Oof. Wait till the playlist, bro. I got a 2D game that well, I was not bored with that at all. But let's get right into it, shall we? Nintendo, man.
Yeah.
So we finally got confirmation of the pre-order dates.
Yeah.
If you recall, if the listeners recall, it was June 8th or June 9th,
June
I think,
9th.
or not June, no, April. Sorry, April 9th.
April 9th, release date June 5th.
June 5th. In Canada and US, and then they ended up canceling the pre-orders for the US, or not canceling the pre-orders, but canceling the pre-order date indefinitely, and then they did the same with Canada a week later. We have confirmation now that they will both be on the 24th. Kind of similar to what it was before. One thing to note is there is no price hike on the console, but there appears to be an accessory price hike. And I think that's what they're doing to maybe cover a little bit of this, gray area where we don't really know what's going to happen with tariffs. In US dollars, the Switch and the Mario Kart World Bundle are the same. Same with the games. The Pro Controller has been increased by $5 from $80 to $85. The Joy-Con 2 pair from $90 to $95. The Joy-Con charging grip from $35 to $40. Joy-Con straps been increased by $1 from $12.99 to $13.99. And the Joy-Con wheel set also $5 increase. The camera a $5 increase. The dock set a $10 increase. The carrying case a $10 increase, a $5 increase, and the AC adapter a $5 increase. Now, we actually this week finally got a little bit of confirmation as to what the prices were going to be in
Canadian dollars, right?
Yeah. So we were talking about this. You sent me the link. It was from LeBabins posted it on Twitter, but I don't know what this one is. The sources, but yeah, these. I mean, I don't know, man. I saw these prices, and I think me and you were kind of in the same boat. Of course, we already know the Switch 2 console is going to be 630 Canadian dollars and 700 Canadian dollars for the Switch 2, the Mario Kart World Bundle. We just got confirmation now. I think it was rumored. They were saying in the US it wasn't going to happen. They were saying in the UK it is happening. But we just got confirmation that Mario Kart World Physical Edition is going to be $10 more than the digital, which means it's going to be 110 Canadian dollars if you want to buy a physical edition of Mario Kart World. That makes it $20 more than any physical game that's ever released in Canada, bar whatever was going on back in the SNES days and cartridges and inflation. Yeah, Donkey Kong Bonanza, $100 for the physical. The Switch 2 Pro Controller is 110 Canadian dollars. The Joy-Cons, if you want to get a second pair of Joy-Cons, is 125 Canadian dollars.
Yeah, that was like the crazy. There's no controller that's that expensive, right?
I mean, unless you're buying Elite Series 2 Xbox or you're buying a PS5.
Yeah, but those are premium
DualSense
controllers.
Edge. Yeah, these are just the Joy-Cons. 125. The Pro's 110. That makes it more expensive than the DualSense. And then along the line, it's kind of the same. The dock set's 155. The camera's 70. The wheels are 30. The strap is 20. But I think I know a lot of these are secondary. The really glaring one is that Pro Controller price, the Joy-Con price, and the price of the games.
Yeah. So I was reading on Reddit, some guy did the conversion so they did USD MSRP Canadian conversion as of April 18th. So like a few days ago, MSRP Canadian. So like just comparing the conversion price to the Canadian prices. And it looks like we are getting a bit of a discount compared to the conversion prices. So the charging grip, we are saving 13% compared to like what what it would have costed if we took the US dollar and converted it. So that's like works out to be savings of $5. The dock set we're saving technically 9% on, which is $11. But we are paying extra in some with some of the accessories. So that strap, which I don't know why people are buying straps, but we're paying an extra 63 cents, which is 4% more. And Donkey Kong, we're actually paying more for. So the conversion worked out to be 96.88, and we're paying $100 for that game. So a $3 difference.
Yeah, I mean, I think consoles, when priced in Canadian, sometimes they factor in the fact that if you're really going to charge us based on the conversion of the time, no one's going to buy this thing because no one can afford it, right?
Yeah.
Like you'll kick us out of the market. I don't know. These game consoles, sometimes their pricing. You remember the PS5 Pro where in pounds and in euros it was actually more expensive than USD?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even in yen, I think it was more expensive than USD. So, I mean, it's still like, what does this little bit of a discount mean to me if my buying power is limited, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could sell you could sell Mario Kart World for half the price in a third world country. People don't have the buying power to buy it,
Yeah.
you
It
know,
wouldn't
so
sell
it
whatsoever.
wouldn't sell, right?
This, I think, puts like the nail in the coffin for GTA to charge basically whatever they want, and future games to charge whatever they want. Like,
Yeah,
are
I
you really think that Sony is going to look at this, or Microsoft, or any developer and be like, well, people are buying it at $100, $110 here in Canada. So like, yeah, let's raise the price. Who cares?
I think some developers don't have that luxury. I think there's still $80 games coming out. If I recall, first Berserker Kazan that just came out a few weeks ago
Mm-hmm.
was $80, even though it's a next gen game. I mean, 80 Canadian dollars. But yeah,
But
Sony,
like big studio hits,
yeah, Sony, GTA is going to be like $100, I think, at least Canadian, and then maybe 110 for the like physical, similar. And then this whole difference between physical and digital, they're really trying to kill the physical. I don't know.
yeah, I think they just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah,
Or like, it's cheaper to literally ship pieces of paper with a code on it to these
and a
retail,
cartridge.
yeah, instead of a cartridge and a case for it too, right?
Yeah,
And then if you end up having to download part of the game anyways, why do you need a
yeah.
cartridge?
I guess probably the listener should know that I have really, really turned on the Switch too. I thought that reveal, the direct we had several weeks ago now, I thought it was amazing. I thought it was a really good showing for the console. And then as soon as that ended, it just feels like it's been just bad news trickling in, like more and more bad news, just slowly and slowly trickling in. And I'm just kind of like the hype has kind of been killed for me. Um, and I have actually been looking into buying another handheld console. And I literally have a Steam Deck in the shopping cart right now, thinking about just pressing purchase and moving on from the Switch 2. I'm only kind of torn because like I still want to play. I know I'll want to play like one or two handful of games for the Switch, like the Dusk Bloods from Software for sure. I feel like I'm gonna need to like figure something out to play that game. Whenever a 3D Mario comes out, I really want in on that. Even another 2D Mario like Mario Bros. Wonder, like I want in on that. But otherwise, I just like I don't even care. I'm thinking, why do I want to buy this Pro controller for $110 when I could just buy Steam Deck and connect my Xbox controller to it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
For example, something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I
I'm
don't know.
thinking the same thing. I mean, we don't have that luxury. Like one of us will have to purchase it if we want to review any of the Nintendo games.
Yeah. I'm like
So, I mean, we could probably just buy one and then we could, split playtime. Like realistically, you don't want to cover Donkey Kong. I don't know if I'm really too interested in it, but like, if you want to cover like Dusk Bloods and stuff like that, we might just have to share around it, which I don't mind because I don't think I'll play Dusk Bloods. It's interesting, but it's not like I need to play it interesting
it's
for
also
a review.
like this. The Switch is also kind of like my party, friends coming over, family coming over console. So I'm just kind of like, I'm the host. Do I want to just be a good host and get the Mario Kart and get the
Mhm.
Mario Party and whatever?
But the package that you want to build is literally going to be $1,000.
It's, yeah, at this point. Well,
Because
if I get the bundle with the Mario Kart
Yeah,
World,
but
that's
then on top of
700.
that, the controllers,
Another
right? Like
Joy-Con.
is 4 Joy-Cons enough?
I'd say 4 Joy-Cons enough, especially since there's like backwards compatibility with the old ones.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Derwin. I'm really on the fence, and if I do buy this thing, it's going to be a reluctant buy. It's not going to be
Yeah.
because it's going to be
On
like,
principle,
well,
I do not want to buy this thing.
yeah. I'm
Just
just
in
so
general. Like I think right now all of the major video game companies, I'm very reluctant and really want to
that's why I want to
purchase
buy a
it.
Steam Deck. Yeah. Yeah, we'll get into it here. We'll talk a little bit about Sony, but
Yeah.
uh,
But anyways, April 24th, pre-orders, London Drugs. Well, in Canada, London Drugs, Best Buy, GameStop, Walmart. Are we missing any other retailers?
Amazon,
Yeah, Amazon.
there's Costco maybe.
Costco usually gets it later, I think. But perhaps you might I don't think you'll be able to pre-order through Costco though.
So it's gonna be is it the same thing? Is it 10 a.m. Mountain Time?
I thought it was
I remember
midnight for one of those.
Walmart had midnight, I remember. But I don't know if they still have midnight this time.
Check. I don't know the news or the timing for Calgary in particular.
I think it was, yeah, I think they said 9 Pacific, so that would make it 10 Mountain Time.
Yeah, something like that. Well, anyways, just double check with your retailer. Obviously, log in early if you really want to get a pre-order. GameStop, if you want, you can go to the stores. You just have to um, make sure you check the opening times for your local GameStop.
Yeah, the opening time at the GameStop lineup, same thing. Yeah, get the pre-order. I'm probably gonna still try to pre-order one of these things for a couple of other reasons here that I'm gonna get to in the news stories, and then maybe just decide when it actually comes out if I want to keep it or not.
Yeah, fair.
So last week we heard that the tariffs on electronics coming from Asia will be exempt. Electronics coming from Asia will be exempt of tariffs, right? And we found out recently that unlike smartphones and some other accessories, the Switch 2 and video game consoles will not be included as part of that. So the Switch 2 very possibly likely may still get tariffed, and the price may still go up. And Nintendo has been warned to expect 145% tariff on Switch 2. So considering all that, if you're sitting here waiting to maybe get one of these, I don't know if you're going to actually get it for any cheaper than you're going to get it now. Yeah. So
That hurts.
I mean,
yeah.
I mean, watch out. We don't know what Mr. Trump's up to, but
yeah, it just sucks that we share a market with the US.
Yeah. I mean, it's the same as gonna. I think because they canceled the pre-orders here. Expect the same here. Expect a price hike. I don't know how it's gonna work, but expect a price hike for the Switch 2 here, if more tariffs go through. And
Yeah.
since
I
these
wonder
Switch 2s
what-
aren't exempt.
I wonder what. Well, Nintendo will have to figure out what the magic number is between a price difference between US and Canada in order to make sure that the Americans aren't just coming over to Canada and just purchasing Switch 2s. And then also a number that will make Canadians actually go out and purchase the Switch 2 itself.
Can we fast forward to the PlayStation stories? Because I think these really tie into it.
Yeah, I think we should.
Okay. Yeah.
The PlayStation stories make me even more mad, to be honest.
Yeah. So this same week that we hear all this news, PlayStation Digital Edition prices have been increased in the United Kingdom, Europe, and Australia for a second time since the things come out. And PlayStation Plus prices in Canada, as well as 20 other countries, are receiving a price hike. I believe it's like a $40 price hike on the middle tier, like a $20 price hike on the base tier, and maybe like a $25 price hike on the premium tier. So I think now it's like 110 and 150 and 230 respectively for PS Plus, which, if you recall, we have already gotten a price hike on that service this console generation. And PS Plus used to be like $70 for the longest time. Canadian, for the whole year.
Basically, like all of PS4 generation almost, right? It stayed the same price.
Now we're talking 110. And the reason why I'm bringing this into the Nintendo conversation is you were questioning what would happen if these tariffs actually went through and how Nintendo would calculate the numbers. and there's suggestions that this Sony price increase in all territories besides the US is how they're calculating the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
They're basically saying the United States is our biggest market. And if we get tariffed, we don't want to lose that market. And we don't want to increase prices in that market and lose market share there. So instead, we're going to hit some of our smaller markets with premium prices to offset the losses that we're going to suffer in the United States. And that is what I'm worried about. If you're a Switch, if you want to buy a Switch 2 and you're in Canada or in another territory, and these tariffs go through, I would not be surprised if the United States does not get a price hike. But instead, they cover the cost of the tariff by raising prices on countries that have nothing to do with it because they're a smaller market, and you know, Nintendo could risk that and offset the prices there in the US.
Yeah,
That they're losing in the US.
that's so annoying. It's beyond annoying. When I read this story, I was like, "Are you like kidding me?" Like, I don't know. I don't subscribe to PS Plus already because I do not agree with their price increases. Specifically, what extra service are they offering us for these price increases, right? When they increased it the first time, I looked at it, I'm like, yeah, the games they give you, like, sometimes they're like cool, but it's gotten to the point that I would rather just purchase a game and own it, quote unquote own it, than like constantly be subscribed to get like these pick of like these random games that are basically like you're only getting it because nobody else is very interested in buying these games, right? Like, why am I buying games I'll probably never touch for a ridiculous price? And I actually don't play multiplayer that much, so like I just don't see the value to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly, like, to me, Game Pass is just so much more enticing. Yeah, it's more expensive, and they like still keep increasing the price, but Game Pass is just to me like the better purchase. Like, the value is actually there. You get day one games. Like,
Yeah. You get some day one games with PlayStation Essential, but not. I don't know. I'm kind of torn because I have been a subscriber to the Essential tier, the middle tier of PS Plus, since it came out in since they did the revamp of the whole service in 2021, was it, or 2022, when they made it this 3-tiered thing. I feel like I've been like a subscriber to that middle tier. I usually try to buy it on a sale and I buy the whole year. And I find it's just like whatever. I'll get it on a sale and spend $100 for the whole year. But yeah, it's starting to go up to a point where it's like, is this really worth it? And I do agree with you. I kind of like, I feel like it. I've been thinking about this retrospectively recently. I feel like these subscription services kind of mess with my head for what it comes to when I want to play. You know what I mean? Because it's like I end up trying a lot of games, which is good because I end up finding gems on these subscription services that I would otherwise not purchase if I didn't try them. But at the same time, then I end up also wasting a lot of my gaming time just trying games because they're on the subscription service. And I'm like, well, I paid for this. I better make use of it. And then, they'll be like, oh, I want to play this game, but I'll play it later. And then they'll take it off the service. And I'm just like, well, what was the point of that? So it's like, I should have probably just bought the games I want to play, make it more cheaper. Because you can't even play all these games on these services. So it's like, you're only ever playing, if that's the only thing you play is something on a subscription service, you're only playing 10% of those games, maybe. So it's kind of weird. Like, I mean, I don't know, like Blueprints just came out. I probably wouldn't have bought Blueprints, to be honest with you. Well, maybe the reviews were really good, but whatever. But it's both on PS Plus and Game Pass, so it's kind of like, oh, I should try it. But yeah, I don't know. I think this is it. $190 for this thing. I think this is it. I think I'll just drop to the base tier for like online multiplayer. And that's it. I don't know.
yeah, realistically, the Sony titles I end up mainly purchasing anyways. So, like, I don't need a subscription for it. Like, I would rather just own the game and then not have to like deal with, the monthly or the yearly charges. Like, what if I want to go? What if I unsubscribe and then, like, a few years later I want to go back and revisit this game? Then
It's
what am
gone
I going
now.
to do? Resubscribe? I don't know. Versus just being able to launch it because I've previously purchased it.
Well, it's probably gone by then. By 2 years, it's probably been taken off the service anyway.
Yeah,
It seems to
for
be
some of
the
these
cycle.
games, yeah, unless it's the bread and butter like God of War or something like that.
Well, Sony's pretty notorious for taking those off every time they want to do a little remaster thing, right?
That's
Remember
true.
Horizon? Remember OG Spider-Man? I mean,
Yeah,
OG
that's true.
Spider-Man's still not even back on the servers. They remastered it, and yeah. So I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
all around, not good policies, not good
Yeah,
practices.
the world is literally subsidizing the US
Yeah, it's not the other way around.
when
It
they're
seems.
the ones that decided to do the tariffs.
Yeah, I mean, have they even? That's a problem. Have they even decided to do the tariffs? Like, this is going to cause a recession. I mean, and I'm not any economic expert. I'm a pretty big nerd, but when it comes to the economy, I don't really know what I'm talking about. But still, I mean, what's the point of the tariff, right? The point of the tariff is like to move where the manufacturing happens, to make it more enticing for the big companies to move it and make it homegrown. How long is it going to take to move, I don't know, a car assembly factory in Mexico or Canada or wherever to the United States? How long is it going to make to move some of these assembly lines in China or whatever to the United States for some of these companies? And how much is it going to cost? Is a company really going to go out of the way and spend billions of dollars moving their entire operations to the US in order to avoid tariffs that we don't even know if they're going through? Every day he changes his mind, right? And in 4 years, he might not be around, depending on if they're going to rip the
Find a way
Constitution
to
apart and keep him in place. So then everything goes back to the status quo, and then this company spent $10 billion moving their entire operations outside of another country and into the United States. For what? For tariffs that no longer exist? So the company's not going to take such a decision. They're just going to wait it out. While you wait it out, when everybody's waiting it out, what happens to the economy, right?
yeah. Do you just wait out, you know, his lifetime in politics, or do you invest and actually move manufacturing? And you have to remember, like, your manufacturing will now be more expensive forever if you move it to the US.
Correct, because you have to pay U.S. salaries. And let's be honest. I mean, I know China was making those AI meme jokes, but if people in third world countries, like, let's be honest, this is the truth. The reason why stuff gets made there, so that's how capitalism works. It's kind of almost slavery. You could really go to a third world country and basically get people to work in your factory who need to work in your factory to stay alive, to survive, and pay them nothing and work them to the bone. And it's better for profit. You bring it to the US, what they're going to do, like, yeah, we got Memorial Day long weekend and we got whatever 40-hour work week. Good luck, bro.
Yeah.
I don't,
And like, we talk about mental health and stuff that too. Like,
yeah.
do you think China really like China will just install a net
Yeah.
around their building?
So you jump, you fall, you get caught. Back to work. Yeah, you
Right.
can't even kill yourself if you
Like,
want
that's dark, but that is
it.
what happens in Foxconn, right?
Yeah.
Particularly.
And then do we know if there's any tariffs on Taiwan? I can't imagine there's tariffs on Taiwan. Because I
Uh
mean, the chips, bro,
I
like nobody
think I
knows.
think actually that was pretty controversial, because I think because depends on how like the US sees it. They don't really clearly define if Taiwan is like part of China or not, but
Yeah.
technically they're not. So I think there was like a leeway because of what was recognized.
I don't know where I was listening to, but technically Taiwan in writing is actually part of China. That's what the US recognizes. It is somewhere in writing, you know what I mean? Like, how countries recognize, but then there's all this like, issue with the South China Sea and whatnot.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah.
we're really diverging. I feel like these last few episodes has turned this into a politics podcast, but it's like there's no way around it.
Yeah, like everything we talk about, like price increases and like where we're at in terms of everybody. Price, yeah, like these consoles coming out, Microsoft themselves, like this is all related to that,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. Are we in for another Great Depression in the 30s here in 5 years?
This is our third recession in our lifetimes already, if you
Well,
think about it.
depends. So there's 2008.
And then the
What else was there?
2000s.com bubble burst, right? The
Okay.
2000s.com bubble burst, the '08 depression, COVID.
This we don't know what this is
This I
yet.
don't know. This one we'll
There's
see.
been
So
like
like four.
there's been like many, I think, like when OPEC dropped the price of oil 2013 literally ruined oil and gas here in Alberta.
Yeah, that one was like more of
Local
a
situation.
local slash like people that are related to oil and gas, or like economies that are very based in oil
Yeah.
and gas, I guess.
Circling back to Nintendo, we got some more news from Nintendo. Word on the street is that Mario Kart World Bundle that's going to save you in Canada $40 on Mario Kart World may not be available for sale on at Christmas.
Yeah, I also heard about this. That bundle is very, very limited time. So what? We have to pay $110 for Mario Kart?
I mean, that's another thing I guess I want the listeners to hear is that if you really want to buy a Switch 2,
And
considering
Mario
all
Kart
this
is a
tariff
game that you're
talk,
playing for sure, guaranteed.
yeah.
Then
Considering all this tariff talk and this possibility these prices are going to go up and this uncertainty, in addition to this, maybe you get it now. And no console has seen a price drop since they've come out in 2020, this last decade. So if you think this thing's going to go on sale, I'm telling you from now, it's not. It's possibly only going to get more expensive. So if you're holding out on buying a Switch 2 because money, you think you're going to get a sale or anything, you're not. You're getting a deal on Mario Kart right now that you're not going to get later. And the price of these consoles may potentially go up. As we've been seeing, the price of the PlayStation 5 has been going up in Canada.
mm-hmm.
Yeah. Speaking of Mario Kart, they had a direct that was about 16 minutes long last Thursday. Deeper dive into more things Mario Kart World. Did you happen to take a look?
I didn't even bother. I looked at the price and I like
so
I already don't care that much about Mario Kart, and then they drop the price, and then they like have a direct. I'm like, I really, really, really don't care about this game.
yeah. Okay, I did my research. I watched the thing. They showed a lot of the courses. They showed more of those game modes, the Grand Prix and the time rally one, where you get eliminated if you're not in a specific seed in the race.
Is it true that you can drive a semi truck?
Yes, you can. Yeah. They showed a lot of the characters. Funny. They showed a lot of the new items. There's like a hammer thing. There's like a coin turtle. There's like baby Princess Peach and baby Princess Daisy for characters. They showed a lot of the vehicles. They showed a lot of the new tricks, the dodges, this new jump button, blah, blah, blah. And they showed a few like minor game modes of this arena battle with like turtles or whatever. They showed some of the online functionality. I would say the highlight really is that this really is feeling like a Forza Horizon Mario Kart. There's an open world. The open world looks pretty vast. It doesn't look small. It looks like there's a lot of things to do in the open world. There's a lot of different biomes. There's a day and night cycle where different things happen in the day and the night. You can do this almost like Monster Hunter-esque, MMO-esque thing where you play with a friend online and basically, I don't know, you guys end up in the same server or something, but you're free roaming in the open world together. So you could see where your friend is on the map on the open world and go find them, seek them out. You guys could be doing your own thing or you could be doing it together.
Is it limited to just one friend or is it a few like they showed in the original direct?
That's a good point. I only saw one in the direct, like one friend in this online open world place. But they did say that it supports 4-player local co-op, 8-player handheld co-op? local wireless.
Okay.
And 24-player online, like for actual competitive races. But this play with a friend thing, I only saw one friend in the whole thing. Actually, it could have been like 2 or 3. I'm not, but I can't.
Was
confirm.
The video chat any better?
Slightly. It actually looked a little bit slightly better. It didn't look that horrendous. They showed the whole camera function thing, whatever. It looks like a very beautiful game. It looks really interesting with the whole open world thing. And these races, like the Grand Prix, where you go to like 4 different races and you're supposed to connect. And then the other one where you're supposed to do like a tour across the map. There's like multiple of them. And then you're supposed to, do them at a specific time or like hit a specific seed. It looks very fun. It looks like it would be a great party game. Something I would I'd enjoy if I had friends over or relatives over, Like that's kind of really what I use my Switch for mostly. Is people come over and, we'll play Mario Party or something like that, right? So it seems like it would be a really good fit for that. And I don't know, man. It looks interesting to me. $110? Probably not. But if I get it with a bundle, I mean, that's the only way.
Yeah.
And then I'm still like torn. Like, is it really worth it then? I don't know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
What's really not worth it is the Zelda editions.
I mean, Yeah, but I haven't played those games, and I was always waiting for like a Switch 2 to come out so I could play them on a higher resolution.
Did you
So
also see that they took off VRR? Oh, I guess you did. You
yeah,
did.
I did. I have it in the show
I
notes.
jumped the
It's
gun
next
for
up.
that.
Next up, yeah. So they mentioned VR in the direct, and apparently it's been taken off the website, which is not good. I don't know what that means. Is it yeah?
Yeah, it just moves out like choppy frame rates if it
But
can't
why'd they add it and now take it out? I don't know.
concerns. Concerns. I'm like I know people have had the live experiences and they say that it's like it runs really smooth. So I'm like confident that it'll actually do well, but I just don't know why they decided to take that off magically.
Beats me. I've been reading. Oh, there's also these couple of smaller news stories where there's like some conflicting information here about game shares and Nintendo Switch 2 editions of cartridges. But we have two reports, one from the publisher of Rune Factory Gardens of Azuma, which is there's going to be a Switch 2 edition of the game, where they're saying that the Switch 2 cartridge is actually compatible with the Switch 1. So it's forwards compatible. They're basically saying the original Switch is forwards compatible with the Switch 2, whereby you could have a Switch 2 cartridge, put it in the Switch 1, and it'll work. And that did not seem to be the case from any official Nintendo statements, so we're not sure. Also, EA saying Split Fiction can be shared with Switch 1 as well, because we know Split Fiction is coming out for Switch 2 here, and we also got to look into the game share.
Yeah,
Nintendo's
but that
messaging is
that
never
might be
clear
like
about
a
this.
game like you download it onto your system and it's like kind of like a guest pass thing, right?
Yeah, but it's I
That
but
wouldn't confirm like the Switch One would be able to put like you'd be able to put the cartridge of Split Fiction into Switch One and it would run.
well, here's the confusing thing to me. How I thought Split Fiction's a Switch 2 game only. Why is it not? It's not on the Switch 1. And I don't think the Switch 1 technically can handle it. So how are you playing Split Fiction with your friend pass with the Switch 1 unless it's running on a cloud or something? It's kind of weird, no? Like I feel like
Yeah.
you would need a Switch 2 to run it with your friend if it's a Switch 2 game and not a Switch
I,
1 game.
well, I mean, we'll finally get answers once it actually releases,
Yeah.
but
So
that's
confusing
I don't know.
messaging. There's so much confusing messaging about this console. Yeah. That's Nintendo news. Sorry if you don't want to hear any more of it, but we got to do our job. And we kind of covered all the PlayStation news. We got one little more PlayStation story over here is Bungie's Marathon will not be a free-to-play game. It will be a premium title for a certain price. I've been hearing rumors on the internet that's going to be 40 USD, which is the price of Helldivers. So I don't know. There's been some early impressions of this game. Some people got to play it and post some videos about what their thoughts were as soon as the videos dropped. I'm for some reason very high on this game.
I do not know why you're so high on this game.
There's a lot of hate online. I know it's an extraction shooter, which is a genre I really have never played. There are some things about like people were complaining there's no proximity chat. People were saying that there's this whole weird system where at the end of every season you lose all your loot. Bungie was trying to say this game is not really about like getting loot and progression. It's more about like the fun of like going in and seeing what happens. Which I don't mind because I miss the days when you just played a multiplayer game just to play it, not for some skins or for some battle pass or like this constant progression. Like I'm thinking like OG Xbox days or whatever, you know.
Mm-hmm. Like it's a skill base. Like you just
Yeah, you just play for fun. There's no like, yeah, it's just a competition. There's no like, oh, what's the battle pass? What's the new skin this week? Oh, can I get some microtransactions? What's the progression? What's the reward? What level am I at? Like, you know.
yeah.
The gunplay looks really good. I really love the art style for Marathon. Um, and I have no problem playing for a premium price for a game. I understand the point of the free to play model, but there's plenty of games where I mean Helldivers 2 is the best example, right? Maybe it didn't have the premium price did not help the Concord situation, right? Maybe Concord would have stood a chance if it was free to play. But Helldivers, I mean, that was not free to play. A lot of people bought that, so
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't mind them taking money from me up front to avoid them doing the whole, battle passes are $25 or whatever.
Yeah. There is a closed beta or a closed alpha,
Closed
not
alpha.
beta. You do have to hop onto their Discord and sign up for it. Just do a quick Google search for Marathon Alpha sign up. should be the first link.
Yeah, it's coming out soon too, September 20th. I don't know. I really like the art style. I like that cinematic trailer. It was really cool. I like the few gameplay trailers that they dropped. I think they dropped like 3 or 4 videos altogether. I don't know. I was high on it. I'm kind of looking forward to it now, even though I was not looking forward to this game ever since they announced it. But Spongy 2, the shooting looks really solid, right? But yeah, we'll see when it comes out. Moving on to some Xbox news. It's been almost like every week now with this Oblivion remake, but it seems like it's actually real now and it's actually happening. A bunch of screenshots and details got leaked. The guy who's been heavily rumoring this, I believe it's been Jeff Grubb, who's been saying this thing's coming out. He said earlier in the week that expected April 21st. And then apparently the release date accidentally leaked on Xbox support. And they're saying it is April 21st, which is tomorrow, Game Pass Day 1. So by the time you're hearing this, the Oblivion remake or remaster, whichever it is, remastered, might actually be a thing and it'll be out. So if you're an Elder Scrolls fan, I called my brother, who I trolled on April Fools, and told him about, Elder Scrolls 6. And I told him there's Oblivion remaster. And he's like, "You're a lying piece of shit." And I'm like, "No, I'm dead serious this time." I'm like, "You can
I do have to
online."
comment on that. You and your brother sound exactly the same.
Do we actually? Like
Yeah,
voice-wise?
your wife posted that or reposted that video he did. What is
In
it? Showing
Malaysia?
off like the store and
Yeah, in
like the way
Malaysia,
you
yeah.
say everything and just certain words. I'm like, I could close my eyes right now and I could just imagine you in my headphones.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so that,
Yeah.
well, I don't know. I guess it's kind of weird. You can never hear your own voice, right? Your
Hmm.
voice always sounds like weird to you until you like hear it. But yeah, I'm sure he's excited for this. He's like, "Dude, because he was in Thailand, now he's in Malaysia. He's boxing over there, and he didn't bring his Xbox with him or whatever. So he's like, "Dude, how am I gonna play this? How am I gonna play
Game
this?" I was like,
Pass.
"Yeah, well, yeah, I guess he could play it on
xCloud,
the
right?
cloud.
xCloud.
Yeah, he could xCloud it. Yeah, if he has good enough internet. So yeah, if you're an Elder Scrolls person, look forward to that. Oblivion is one of people's favorite games. It's been a long time since that game came out. There's also another Oblivion remaster that we've been hearing rumors about, which is the Sky Oblivion, which was a fan-made remake of Oblivion in the Skyrim engine, which apparently is still happening. I don't know how that works with licensing and whatever, but they're saying that this remaster is not going to affect the release window for this fan-made game. I don't know how that works. Reminds me of like that situation with Resident Evil 2 where there was a studio that was making a Resident Evil 2 remake, an unofficial one, and it was called Daymare, like, or whatever. Well, they had to change the name to Daymare because, like, as they were working on it, Capcom announced, "No, actually, we're remaking Resident Evil 2." So sorry, guys. So they had to like rework around that for licensing issues. I'm not sure how that's going to happen. Doom: The Dark Ages is getting pretty close to release, and we got a special edition Xbox controller, an Elite controller, and a wrap for the console for Doom: The Dark Ages. You sent me this. I don't know. It's pretty obnoxious.
Yeah,
This is
the regular controller is very obnoxious, I find.
the Elite controller looks pretty awesome. I think it looks a
Yeah.
little bit better. Yeah.
And then the console wrap kind of looks cool.
Yeah.
I don't know.
But yeah,
Again, I don't
it's got,
know. I would rather change out the parts rather than just putting like a I call it like an Xbox condom on.
yeah, the
'Cause
Xbox
it
one.
literally just like wraps around the side.
Yeah. They don't have a lot of these. I'm surprised they should have done more of these. It's kind of weird. While
Yeah,
PlayStation should have done more of their covers. I mean, what a lost opportunity. We're 5 years into this console cycle. How many special edition of those PlayStation fins did we get? The Spider-Man 2 ones, which don't even work on the mid-gen refresh because the form factor changed on the
that's it,
consoles.
right?
That was it. Otherwise, all of them were like the color ones of like black, white, crimson, red. And then I think the new ones don't even work on the base version of the consoles because the form factor changed. They only make ones for the PS5 Slims. And it's just so stupid. It was such a missed opportunity. Remember when PS5 came out, all those like third-party companies were like making special ones, and then like they were getting cease and desist from Sony. So we're thinking, okay, they're gonna give us some good things. No, we got nothing. We got the Spider-Man 2 ones. That was it. What a lost opportunity. It's so weird. It's like this is the best. People will buy this instead of buying a whole new console just for a skin.
Yeah, you would think that like they would just license it out to like a third party company even to like make like just like you know how like Nintendo does that with certain like third party companies. Like you can get like cases with like Pikachu and stuff on them, but it's like licensed out. Like I don't know.
Yeah,
They never
I've
gave
got.
us that. Microsoft never gave us anything other than a few wraps too. Like
I
come
think
on
Microsoft
guys.
has a lot of controllers, but it's nothing special.
Dude,
Like special
I
edition
don't want
controllers.
controllers, man. I want just one nice like thing for my.
Yeah,
Well, I guess I don't have an Xbox anymore, but for my PS5,
yeah.
some
Like
more
they didn't.
options would be nice. I'm glad I have the PS or the Spider-Man one, but
Yeah, I missed
like
out on that one.
would have been really cool to get like a Final Fantasy one, a Ratchet and Clank one.
Horizon Forbidden West,
Yeah,
God of
The
War
Last of
Ragnarok,
Us. Instead of we
Returnal.
got like this really crappy The Last of Us controller design.
Yeah. What special controllers did we get from PlayStation? We got the Last of Us one. We got the God of War Ragnarok one. I think there was a Final Fantasy 6 one that 16 one that was Japan only. There was
Hmm.
a Monster Hunter one that was Japan only. We
The
got the
Concord
Concord
one
one.
actually looked really cool.
Yeah.
I like the design of that Concord one. It was more colorful.
Yeah. The Astrobot one,
30th anniversary.
30th and Spider-Man 2. There was a Helldivers one if I'm not mistaken.
Yep, there is.
Um there was that stupid LeBron James one with the stickers and the
Yeah,
Fortnite
there
one
was a
too.
Fortnite one. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, not a lot. I'm kind of surprised. Moving on with Xbox. Xbox's Stream Your Game feature on console is now available to all Game Pass Ultimate members. I thought it was already available, but I think it was maybe in beta and only a select few people had access to it. But this is effectively, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, you can stream any game you own, even if it's not a Game Pass game, on your console instead of
yeah.
downloading it.
I feel like there isn't that many. Like with Xbox, I just feel like I mainly play like whatever like game comes out day one on Game Pass, if anything.
Yeah, I don't really own a lot
Right?
anymore, especially this console generation. If I look at all the games I own on my Xbox platform, it's all from like the 360 mostly.
Yeah, I can literally count them on my PS5. Like I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 games
Yeah.
that I've purchased physically.
Yeah, it's like mostly the subscription service is what you're, especially for
Hmm.
Game Pass.
Yeah, or just like you buy it on sale, right?
Yeah.
On a digital sale.
On a digital storefront.
Yeah, and then Xbox, I literally own one, and that's only because I got a special edition of
Which one?
No More Heroes. 4, 3, 3.
Oh, sick. I didn't know you've played that game.
Dude, I loved the first 2 games, and then like it got really weird.
It's pretty weird.
Like it was already a weird game to begin with, but like I don't know. I think we lost the magic of not having it on like a Wii. Because like the original game, like you would press A and B on the controller, so it feels like you actually was lighting up like the lightsaber or like
Oh,
the
okay,
the
okay.
katana, and then you would actually have to like swing it a little bit to like
To
to do the kill moves, and then like
oh,
you
okay.
have it connected to a nunchuck, so you like use that as like the move around thing. I loved it on the Wii. It
Oh,
was great. It was a good time. Then you had to
yeah.
like recharge it by jerking off your Wii controller.
Well, that's it for Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo. We can move on to more general multi-platform stuff. And of course, Ubisoft. Ubisoft is the dev that always gives us the publisher that always gives us all the news, keeps us busy. We got a year one Skull and Bones update kind of trailer. Yes, that is right. Skull of Bones still exists. The servers have not been taken online. Production has not ceased on this, but they just announced that they got a season 3 update and they're showing what they're bringing. And the highlight is they bring land combat finally, which was a big, big controversial thing when Skull and Bones came out because obviously Skull and Bones is just a spin-off of Assassin's Creed Black Flag. It's been in development forever. It's been booted and restarted and ran through multiple iterations. But it comes out and there was no duels or land battles or any fighting with pistols or swords or anything like that. You kind of just board a ship and you take it over and you secure it. It was purely naval combat. Whereas in Black Flag, you can disembark from your ship onto an opponent's ship that's been, what's the word? The ship's the mast has been broken. They can't move, so you take over the ship that way in a pirate style. They're finally adding that, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty like excited to see what it's actually gonna look like. So, yeah, new PvP opportunities, world tiers, more ships, extra types of pirates, a Kraken fight, land combat. So, few things there if you're still interested in Skull and Bones. More information from Ubisoft is Star Wars Outlaws has a Switch 2 release date confirmed and has a Pirates Fortune DLC trailer reveal. The Switch 2 port is coming I think it was like September 4th. Yeah, September 4th, and this DLC is coming May 15th. The DLC trailer is up. There's a character who you team up with. He is the infamous pirate Hondo Naka, which I'll be honest with you, like, I'm not exactly a Star Wars buff, but I've watched all the live action Star Wars. At least I haven't watched the animated stuff. I don't know who that is.
I have no idea either.
I can't remember either, but the trailer kind of showed it off like it was a big deal. So
Canon.
Star Wars Outlaws. I think there's a demo also up for the game, a 3-hour demo now on PlayStation Store and probably the Microsoft Store. Star Wars Outlaws is a weird game, man. Like I was really excited for it, and then it came out and did get good reviews, and I didn't play it as a result of that. But I still like think about it. I'm like, oh man, I really want to play Star Wars Outlaws. I'm like, no. They said it was a bad game. I'm like, I can't tell that it's a bad game from just looking at it. It looks really good to me. And yeah, so maybe one day, maybe I'll try this demo.
No, I just need another Jedi game.
Yeah, I don't know. I didn't mind the whole outlaw idea. Not everything has to be saber or lightsaber.
Nah, man, I love those saber games.
Well, are you going to love this other Star Wars game that's coming out? Star Wars Zero Company. Details and first screenshots, plus like a trailer video, emerged from Star Wars Celebration in Japan. This is the game that I think was rumored in the beginning of the week. It's from EA, but is it the same developer as
It's developed by Bit Reactor in collaboration with Lucasfilm Games and Apex Legends developer Respawn Entertainment.
Yeah, the Respawn is the one who makes. I can never remember these internal studios.
Respawn also makes Star Wars Jedi Survivor. Yeah.
Okay, so they do. Yeah, it seems like it's a tactical, turn-based tactical combat game, like a I don't know. I'm trying to think like what's that game that came out? Shadow Gambit, stuff like. Well, that's a stealth tactical, but you know what I'm talking about, right?
It's like a turn-based tactics game. Yeah.
Turn-based.
You like position your people in environments, and they have special abilities and whatnot. You clear the map, kind of deal.
Yeah. So not exactly my genre, but
yeah, like I'll play it and then I get bored. Is like the issue.
I feel like those games, there's always a problem with like learning curve and difficulty. It's like I feel like it's either too easy or too hard, and there's no like nice climb up.
Yeah, no, I
don't. Do we have a date for this? I don't think we do.
No, I think it was just a trailer, right?
Yeah, it's just an early look.
This says 2026. So
okay, so next year we got a gameplay trailer. Every time I bring this game up, I laugh because you're gonna call me out for not playing Silent Hill 2 yet. But we got a gameplay trailer for Chronos: The New Dawn, which is the upcoming game from Bloober Team, which is coming later this year somehow, considering they just released Silent Hill 2 last year, and considering they're apparently working on another game for Konami. I don't know how this is coming out. We only saw this like a week after Silent Hill 2 came out. We saw first reveal, and we got a gameplay trailer. A short one, 2 minutes. I don't know. It looks very Dead Spacey, this one. They were showing this whole thing of like if you don't kill these like beasts in time, they kind of like join together and they become stronger. Yeah, like if you don't. The trailer also highlights the game's gameplay loop. Enemies don't stay dead for long, and if the player doesn't burn them, they can be absorbed into other enemies, making them stronger. I'm trying to think where there was another game where you have to like burn the enemy after killing him. I mean that kind of gameplay mechanic exists in several games. Like I remember like Resident Evil, at least Resident Evil 2 remake and 3 remake, and probably the OG Resident Evil 2 and 3. When you shoot a zombie, you think he's dead, but like you could like walk back in the area later, and then he'll like grab your foot and like wake up.
Yeah,
sort of thing.
You have to like confirm kill them basically.
You have to confirm kill. You have to like sit there, start stabbing him when he's on the ground, or shoot him some more in the head. Or like Elden Ring, and other From Software games and other Souls games, they'll have like these skeletons that you hit them, and you think he's dead, but then you have to really keep smashing his bones and separate him, or else he's just gonna resurrect. So yeah, we'll see how this game turns out. Still rumored for this year. I'm looking forward to that. So there was a closed beta for the next game from the Sifu developer.
The soccer one, right?
The soccer game. What was it called? I can't remember.
Rematch?
It was like that Rocket,
the rematch?
yeah, rematch, the soccer league. Yeah, it's like the Rocket League soccer game. It has more peak concurrent players on Steam, the beta, than FIFA 25. So I don't know what that means, because I saw the peak concurrency right now for FC 25. I'm thinking that makes no sense. There's no way it's just 110,000 people. I'm thinking maybe FIFA maybe is more of a console game. More people play on console. That's
Yeah,
why
I think
you're not
so
seeing
too. I think in
Yeah, you're not
general.
seeing- yeah. But that's pretty good for this game, especially for a beta. This is actually also coming to Game Pass, I think, in, want to say June, but this summer for sure. You gonna try that out? I'm gonna try it out.
I don't think so. Like FIFA's fun, but like I can only play so many sports games. Like
I like this because
I find sports games are like fun if you do like a local co-op. I love local co-op sports games.
yeah, that's true too. I can't sit there and play something online that much. I'm not really into
Yeah,
that.
and I'm not that good. I don't want to go online and just get creamed instantly.
That's why you don't play Tekken 8.
Dude, that's why I don't play any of those like actually competitive ones. I
Those
remember
fighter
logging
games.
onto like NHL online one time and I got schooled so bad.
Yeah, I mean, you
So
could play
bad.
like there's like ranked and like whatever, but
Hmm.
yeah, no, some of those, like especially fighting games, man. Like there's some people that are like in it. Like you'll never be able to learn all that.
Yeah, they like know all the iframes, they know all the move cancels, they know exactly when to pop their ultimate and like their rage or whatever. Oh man, it's rough. Like,
Yeah,
listen, I'm just here to enjoy like
I just want to have
beating
some fun.
up my button mashing sister or my button mashing friend.
I just want to play as Chung Li. I don't want to get beaten up.
Yeah.
If you really don't want to get beaten up, do not accept any beta test invites for The Witcher 4, because CD Projekt Red is warning that they are a scam. So if any of you got excited, I am thinking my brother. My brother got this in the mail
Did
after
he actually?
no, I'm saying if he did after I told him all about the Witcher 4 release date, I could see him accepting this beta invite and getting scammed. I don't know. I don't exactly know how you get scammed, how it works.
Why would you be accepted for a beta test for The Witcher 4? It's like literally a single player game, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean people don't know otherwise, right?
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
Siri as the
So,
protagonist.
looking forward to this one. We'll see how that turns
Yeah,
out.
it looks really hot.
Well, at least
This
the
is the one.
cinematic looks good. Yeah. But we
Yeah.
don't really know more than that. That's it for news for this week. An hour, not bad.
Yeah, we're killing it this week.
Killing it this week. But we got some games to talk about. So I wrote stuff in the playlist. Is that correct? Or
That is correct.
That is correct. Do you want to talk about the game that you played that's unique? And I talk about the games that I played that's unique, and then we talk about the common game.
Yeah, I think we should I think that's like
Okay.
a fair thing to cover. So, I have rolled credits on South of Midnight.
Let's go. Okay.
I'm glad this game is actually like the length that it is. I did not really want to sit through like 100-hour campaign. So I'm very, very glad and happy to report it is fully complete. I got most of the collectibles. I'm not going to go back and try and do anything with it. I've completed the story. I enjoyed it. So we'll do a recap of South of Midnight. South of Midnight is like an action adventure game. Came out to Xbox Game Pass day one. It's kind of a stop motion adventure. So like a lot of it was like kind of like a stop motion feel to it. Uh, you're basically set up in is it like Louisiana basically?
It's
Like
like
south,
Louise.
basically the
Yeah,
south,
South
the
Cajun
bayou,
kind of.
more or
Yeah.
less.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So you play as Hazel. You are kind of a teenager. I think high school, and basically there's a hurricane coming. Your mom gets swept away, and you kind of discover your powers as a weaver. It has a whole bunch of, I guess, background and like in the Southern Gothic, so like voodoo and I guess haints. Um, you do solve some puzzles. There's some platforming and there's combat, so it keeps you engaged for the most part. I wrote kind of like a pros and cons. There is a kind of a balance between this game. Overall, I think it is a very enjoyable game. Key standouts were the soundtrack. All the songs kind of correlate with the story that you're kind of playing through. Like there's this one part where you're fighting like a giant crocodile alligator, kind of same. But the song kind of tells the story behind that, or you're climbing up this tree fighting this tree thing, and the song relates to the whole story regarding that. uh the stop motion is very cool, so you can kind of see it more in the cutscenes. But there are like the animals you can kind of see in the not open world, but like in the gameplay world, is very like stop motiony. uh Story was straightforward and very easy to understand. uh the map is very linear, so like once you are done in that area, then you move to the next one, and then you move to the next one, which I actually really liked because it kept the story like so clean and you're just not like wandering around doing random stuff. Voice acting is actually really good in this. The main character is kind of a little bit like annoying, but the voice acting for some of the side characters or the characters that you meet along the way are super interesting because they all have that southern accent.
Yeah.
Like there's like this hillbilly that you meet named Itchy. That
I
I,
think I
I actually
saw.
really love the voice acting for him.
Yeah, I think I saw clips of him. Yeah.
Yeah. The whole game is like bug free. I did not glitch out. I did not bug out. Um, some parts are a little bit rough, and I'll get to that, but zero crashes whatsoever. And I was playing on like ultra with, I think I capped the frame rate because I didn't like. That's what you should really do. So yeah, didn't run into any bugs like that. Um, there are quite a few collectibles, like notes and stuff that you can collect along the way. It tells like additional stories that you can read up on. I personally didn't care. I didn't collect them all. I just collected what was kind of there. And there are three main costume changes for your main character, and I thought they were all very well designed. Getting to the cons, I think this suffers a little bit like Black Myth with not having a mini map.
Oh.
So things kind of look the same because it's like a swamp, right?
Mm.
So like the trees and stuff like that. Um, and then especially if you're like actually trying to like collect these collectibles, not having that map to kind of see where you are in terms of the world or that area, makes it a little bit difficult to find like some of the smaller things, or like I don't sometimes I like look at it and be like, oh, did I go that way already? The soundtrack for the first few areas aren't as good as some of the later songs. There's one boss fight with an owl that that's probably like my favorite song in the whole game, and that happens like very very close to the end. The story's a little bit predictable. The parts of the gameplay that really bothered me was the design of the paths. So when you're actually like jumping onto these trees, there's like a very thin line where you jump on and you're actually on the platform. If you like kind of land on the bark part of the tree, you instantly fall off.
Oh, okay. So
So
it's almost like.
that like drove me insane for some of the platforming aspects of it. Or like I would just be walking and then I'll like think that I can walk there, but then I like I walk onto the part that basically makes you fall off. So I've the thing that killed me the most is actually the trees.
So it wasn't very challenging in the gameplay
No,
itself.
the platforming's super easy. And yeah, like the most annoying thing about the platforming was the trees. And then also there's wind tunnels that you can kind of fly in. That one was kind of rough because like you can clearly tell where the tunnel is, but the gameplay is programmed that like even if you kind of leave that tunnel itself, you're still flying. I didn't realize that
Okay.
until like probably like the third or fourth time doing it. That like you could just like doesn't matter where you are. Once you're flying, you're flying. So you can avoid like obstacles like that. But the thing is, when you kind of come out the wind tunnel like is still visible, but you're clearly not part of it. So it like really took you out of the gameplay. Doesn't feel like you should be flying.
Mm.
Yeah. Honestly, if they polished the platforming aspect to it, I think it would really like help in terms of its score
Mm.
at the very end. And then the main thing about the story that I hated the most is the ending is very abrupt.
Oh, you don't
Yeah,
see it
so
coming?
they yeah, like
You don't feel the build up?
like I just thought there was going to be more. So they build up that the real big bad in the story, spoiler, is like your grandma because she's like the source of all the evil or whatever.
That's a big spoiler.
Well, no, like even in the first chapter, like she's like played off as like the rich like grandma that you're estranged from. Like
Okay.
there's no secret to it. Like if you
Okay.
play the first chapter of this game, you basically kind of know that
Okay.
she's a big bad. That's what I mean when it's predictable. So yeah, it builds up to like you eventually like fighting her, but then in the end you don't fight her at all.
Another spoiler.
Yeah.
Okay. So it just kind of like veers off and ends in a.
Yeah, it just veers off and it just ends.
Hmm.
Yeah. When it seemed like she was like, "Oh my god, this is going to be like a crazy big fight."
Oh,
But yeah, no, it just ends.
okay. I guess my question is, would you recommend this game to someone?
I think I'd still would. Um the story is still very enjoyable and I think that the world building is still really cool. There isn't really a game like this in terms of art
Yeah,
style.
I think it's pretty unique, art style wise, theme wise, location wise, vibes. Yeah.
Mhm.
And then do you think, what would you rate it if you were to give it a rating out of 10? Do you feel in line? It's 77 on Metacritic as a critic score.
I think it's pretty in line. 7
Pretty
is
in line.
probably what I would give it out of 10. Like
Mm.
if you want to get into specifics, I probably wouldn't go 77. I'd probably go like 74, 73.
Okay.
Like the enemy types were so combat is another big part of this game. There's only a few select enemy types. It's very lackluster in terms of combat. I think
Mm.
it could have been fleshed out yet a little bit more, and that would help boost the score. The camera, I didn't even bother locking onto enemies because I thought it took away from your ability to combat, and
Weird.
you're really fighting these enemies one on one. Like really, you should probably be fighting them one on one, and then once they die, you move on to the next one, kind of deal. So the area of effect attacks are kind of like a little bit lackluster there too. But
Okay.
yeah, but in general, I still enjoyed this game. Like I actually rolled credits on it, and I mean, if they
If you
fixed a
didn't
few things, especially adding the mini map and stuff like that, I'd probably go back and just 100% the game.
100% it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts
No, I think
about
that
that?
covered it all. I just had a few notes about the music itself. So the music is by like well-known music developer, I guess, for games, Olivier Deriviere. He did Plague's Tale, both the Innocence and the Requiem
Oh,
entry to it.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
And he also did the Assassin's Creed Black Flag DLC, Freedom
That's where
Cry.
I've heard that name before. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And then another, just like a random side note, just because I watched The Office and whatever, Craig Robinson does one of the songs. I think
Oh,
he does the alligator song I was talking about, Two Toe Tom.
okay.
Yeah, and Craig Robinson, for those who like don't know, you can just search Daryl on The Office. It's that guy.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's pretty cool. I mean, I heard a few of these songs and they sounded pretty solid. Yeah, this Olivier guy, this composer, he also did Streets of Rage 4, which is pretty cool for me. Like I really love Streets of Rage 4. Um yeah, and then the Plague Tale, Greedfall. So that's cool, man. I've been meaning to give it a try, but yeah, it's been a little bit busy, but I think I might hop in tonight because I kind of beat the few games that I was working on, and we
Mhm.
got a few days till Claire Obscure comes out, so I might hop in tonight and give this a try. That is South of Midnight from Compulsion Games, which is a Xbox game studio uh development studio based out of Montreal, Canada. So
Yeah,
it's a
very
Canadian devs.
interesting that they chose that type of
Setting. Yeah,
setting,
yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be like a developer from Montreal choosing the southern United States, Louisiana, swamp kind of biome setting. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Tell me about your experience this week. What did you
Okay.
play?
All right. I rolled credits on 2 games that I've been talking about. I think I talked about last week, but I said we'll go into more detail after I roll credits. I guess maybe I'll start with Split Fiction. So me and my wife finished Split Fiction like 2 days ago. Just the background, me and my wife really when It Takes Two came out, we tried it. We really loved It Takes Two. We've since played Brothers: A Tale of Two Sons, which is the original game from Joseph Fares. The remaster, because the remaster had like a co-op functionality, which the original didn't. And we picked up Split Fiction day one. It wasn't a question. We still haven't played A Way Out, so we might hop into that next. But that's the 2019 game from Hazelight. I mean, Split Fiction came out start of March, I think it was. So it's been out for some time, right? We've been kind of working our way on it, chipping our way on it slowly. I think we took a little bit longer than what the average time to beat was. I think it was like average time to beat was like 13 hours. We took maybe 16. But I mean, I don't know what to tell you. Like the reviews are exactly what they say it is. This game is like spectacular. I mean, this development studio makes like some of the best co-op games I've ever played. Like these games are not repetitive at all. There's new mechanics introduced for short periods of time and then used up, and they move on, and they don't sit there trying to like make more puzzles out of the same mechanics. There's these side stories in each chapter, which are absolutely wonderful. They're like literally the highlight. They're like each chapter has like 3 side stories, and each side story is like maybe 10, 15 minutes long. And they're like some of the best, like quick gameplay, new mechanic introduced. Try it out. It's some of the best fun I've ever played. Going back, Split Fiction, the whole plot is like you are 2 authors or writers, Mio and Chloe, and you're supposed to get published. Some company wants to publish you. You find out it's almost like a Spider-Man 2 villain scenario where there's this guy who made this machine, and it's a big tech corporation, and basically they just put writers in these bubbles that they then steal their ideas from them and then publish their books. Like they go into their brains and make them like make a story in their brains and then steal the ideas from them. And basically Mio and Chloe end up in the same bubble, and which breaks the whole system. So they end up going back and forth between each other's like worlds. Mio being a sci-fi publisher and Chloe being a fantasy publisher, and you just go back and forth in between these fantasy worlds. Each chapter, it's like you do like a sci-fi thing, then you do like a fantasy thing, and each time you do it, there's a different mechanic and a different setting. And it's some of the best like puzzle platforming co-op gameplay ever, and that finale is absolutely spectacular. It's like that last chapter was insane. It was so much fun. I mean, like my wife's not like a crazy gamer or anything, right? There's a lot of times she had trouble with like dual stick like shooting in some instances, and some other platforming, what have you, but we were able to get through the game completely fine. And I didn't really need to help her or anything or take the controller from her. But yeah, it was a really good game. I think it's so weird. Like I don't really have anything to say that people haven't said. It's exactly what you've heard, right? Like if you've watched a review or read a review, it is exactly what they said it is. There's one thing I found, like I didn't really agree. Like people were really hating on the story and saying it wasn't really good writing. It wasn't a really good story. It wasn't great or anything, but I don't think it was like bad enough that it was like something I'd mention. Like
it was enough to get you through the game, because that's
it was
really
completely
like the gameplay is the main star, right?
Yeah, I understand the whole idea of this like Spider-Man 2-esque villain. Well, not Spider-Man 2, but any Spider-Man, right? Where he's like this almost like this evil corporate scientist with like you put people in a bubble and you steal their ideas and publish their novels or whatever. Like I know that's kind of weird, but like once you get into it, like you kind of go through why each of the girls has their own kind of story and why she behaves the way she does and why she writes the stuff, and then you could go deeper into like both of their trauma. And yeah, man, I don't know. I thought it was okay. I thought it was fine. It's not like a story that I'm gonna remember forever, but neither was like It Takes Two. But still, it's a good game, right? Not every game has to be God of War or Last of Us.
Going back to South of Midnight, honestly, if there's one thing that would have literally just stopped the whole game from happening, is if you were a better parent, none of this bad stuff in the world would exist. Yeah, if you were a good parent in any sort of way, it would have been all avoided.
the story wouldn't have happened. Yeah. So yeah, I don't know, man. I can't recommend this game enough. It is not $110 for the physical like Mario Kart World. It is like, I believe it's not a full price game. I think it's like
Yeah, it's probably a
65.
$60 game, right?
Yeah, which is honestly insane. It's as AAA as any game I've played for $80. So like it's 65 Canadian dollars. So on Amazon right now, you can get it. It'll deliver tomorrow. There's literally nothing I could say more than that. I do like, I know like some people are sensitive to game length and whatever. It does feel like it's a little bit padded. I feel like it could have been a little bit shorter, like maybe 10 to 20% shorter. Like some of the chapters did feel like they were dragging on, right?
Yeah. Did
But
it include like any new gameplay like mechanics that potentially
yeah,
would
but
have?
it would be like it's almost like it spoils you where it's like it's giving you a new gameplay mechanic every time. So when that gameplay mechanic sticks around for just slightly a little bit longer, you're like, okay, when's the next one? Which is kind of like a weird thing because it's like, dude, no other game gives you this. So
Yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah.
it's
You
for
kind of
sure
take it
not
for
repetitive.
granted.
Yeah, yeah. It's for sure not repetitive. Where I would rank this among other Haze-like games, I don't know. I think It Takes Two was a really unique experience. The first time I played it, I was mind blown. I didn't think anyone would make like before this. A co-op game is just like a social thing where you're playing the same game with your friend that's sitting right beside you, but you're really doing the same thing, and it's not like you're doing anything like special. But the whole idea of like the mechanics are intertwined and you have to do things like together is really cool. So when I played It Takes Two the first time, I was mind blown. Um, I don't know if I have a favorite between this and It Takes Two. Like I really like this game. I really also like It Takes Two. I don't know. It's tough. I can't say for certain, but yeah, I mean it's still a great game. I can't recommend it enough, especially if you have someone to play with. And yeah, Split Fiction, worth it. Definitely for sure one of my best games from this year so far. So we'll see how the rest of the year goes, but it's for sure on the list. Might be number one.
Nice.
That is Split Fiction. The other game which I rolled credits on, which I talked about a little bit last week, is Animal Well. So Animal Well is the 2D pixel art side-scrolling Metroidvania where you are this blob in this animal well, which is kind of like this horror setting, really, but it's like really mysterious. And you don't really know what you're doing, but you're just trying to get out of the well, I guess. It is from the solo developer. What is his name? Billy Basso. Yeah, Billy Basso. Published by who's the publisher? Geez, it was Big Mode, which is that YouTuber Donkey. Yeah, Donkey's indie game publishing company. This is the first game they published. It came out last year in May. It was nominated for Indie Game of the Year and it lost to Balacho, but it was pretty up there. It's sitting like at a 90 on Metacritic or something crazy like that. It was on my radar. It came to PS Plus Essential when it dropped. I've been meaning to play it for some time, and then I noticed that they were taking it off. So I'm like, speed it up. Bro, this game is incredible, amazing. I like the 90 is not even enough to describe the insanity that this game is. It is spectacular. It's one of the best Metroidvanias I've played. That's not saying much because I don't play a lot of them. I'm not really a Metroidvania type guy, but even though that there's no real combat and you have to defeat enemies using a combination of different tactics, like there's no like punching or swinging or kicking or anything. You're just this little blob and you have to do different things to beat the enemies. And most of the time, all you're doing is really evading them. So there's not really any combat. Even aside from all that, the whole world design, the puzzle making, the art style, the vibe, the music, the feel to this game, the progression, it's incredible. And like there are layers to this game that I've never seen in any other game. And I got the platinum trophy on this. I guess sidetrack, I also almost got the platinum trophy on Split Fiction 2. Me and my wife have one more trophy on that. But yeah, I got the platinum on this, but the platinum does not scratch the surface of this game. There are depths below the platinum to this game that are mind-blowing. So I played it organically, and I kid you not, the more I played this game, I realized, oh, there's like 2 depths to this game. Then I'm like, oh no, there's like 3 layers to this game. I'm like, oh no, there's like 4 layers to this game. Then I'm like, no, there's like 5 layers to this game. And then like in the end, I just like watched a guide to see what I was still missing. And I'm like, oh, there's like 8 layers to this game. It is insane. Like there's like a a base level Metroidvania to this game. And the base level Metroidvania is like you go around the world and you have puzzles to solve and you solve them through the tools that are available to you. Then like the second level is like there's things that you can't access and you know you can access, but you're like, I'll come back later once I get the tool. And it's exactly that. And it'll bring you back organically there. So you kind of solve it along the way. Then there's like a third tier of things where it's like, I know something's here, but I really can't access it. Like, what do I do? And it's like you go through the game and you kind of beat the game, or you go make more progress in the game. And then you like remember, it's like, oh, that thing from like an hour or two ago up in this corner. Now I know how to get there. And you like go back and do it or do whatever, right? Then there's like a fourth layer where it's like you have to beat the game. Like by the time I got the fourth layer of like the depth of the Metroidvania, I'd already beat the main boss and like ran credits on it, right? And then I realized there's like more things. So like I went around and revisited a lot of the map with these new tools that were available to me and discovered more things and like solved more things. Then like even after that, I'm like, okay, I think I did everything, but I'm still missing like X, Y, and Z. And then there's like, so like I guess there's the main collectibles, these things called eggs. And everything I described from layer 1 to 4 is you're really collecting these eggs. Some of these eggs are obviously easier to collect. But like once I got like most of them, that's when I would say I was like on layer 5 where I'm like, I don't know how to get these other ones. And then I would like search up a guide and then it's like, oh, you do this and this. And I'm like, bro, what the hell? And I would like kind of almost use the guide just as a hint. It'll give me a hint and I'll like, okay, I don't need to read the rest of the guide. I have enough of a hint. I'll go do this thing. So I did all that thing and I got all 65 eggs, right? And then I went and did the alternative ending. There's an alternative ending once you get all the eggs, right?
Alternative ending to a 2D side scroller.
Yes, there's like an alternate boss, an alternate ending. So I did that, right? I would say that's like layer 5 of Metroidvania. All 65 eggs. I had to revisit some areas. I got new tools. There's like 4 end game tools that you have, and I'll explain what the tools are. And then like you go back and do that. And I was like, okay, that's cool. I literally am like within sight of the platinum. What am I still missing? A couple of cleanup trophies. No problem at all. So by layer 5, that's like the platinum. Then there's like layer 6, 7, and 8. And I knew there was these layers just because like I would see it in passing on the guide. But there was a collectible called rabbits, which have nothing to do with like trophies. And I was like, okay, let me do it all. I don't care. I want to get like a real 100%, even though I have the platinum now. I went and like started these rabbits. Holy smokes. I'm thinking the guy who figured these out is a genius. There's 16 of these rabbits. By like rabbit 9, like I'm watching this guide and I'm like following this guide because I'm like, oh, there's no way I would have figured this out myself. There's no way. I'm like, let me just do it. And a lot of these rabbits up to like rabbit 10 kind of like answered some of the questions that I still had because I knew some places on the map I could access, but I just didn't understand how. Right. And then when I'm like, oh, that's a rabbit. That's what you do to whatever. There was like one rabbit where you have to like, when you're playing the game, there's pillars, which I never noticed once, but they have a unique art design to them. You have to keep track of all of them on your map and put a stamp on all your map. And then after that, you have to connect the dots on your map to draw a 7-digit code. And then you have to go to a specific place on the map and turn your UV light, which is a tool that you have, to get like the decipher for the code. And then you have to play a flute song with that code to then unlock this rabbit. And I'm like, bro, how did anyone figure this out? How did anyone figure this out? That's rabbit 10. So I got that. Then I look at like rabbit 11 and I'm like, I'm not doing this platforming. This is an insane amount of platforming to do this. So then at rabbit 11, I'm like, okay, there's no way. It was like 1 a.m. at the time or something. It was on the weekend. And I'm like, okay, I need to figure out like where this game is going. Because this is rabbit 11 or 12 or something like that. And I'm like, I have still 4 more to go or 3 more to go. I want to see how hard these actually get. I ended up watching the whole guide video. I just stopped at rabbit 11. I'm like, let me watch the whole guide video and see what else there is. I was like, I don't even know how to explain how complex this game gets. I'm going to backtrack a little and talk about some of the tools you have. You have these tools that you unlock during the game that get you like access to specific places. There's this bubble maker, which lets you blow a single bubble. And you could use the bubble to like platform on. Later on in the game, you get something called a bubble wand, which lets you blow multiple bubbles. And you could, because the single bubble will pop as soon as you jump. The multiple bubbles will let you like blow as many bubbles infinitely. And then you hop on these bubbles and do these like to do this platforming. And sometimes gives you shortcuts. There's this thing called a yo-yo, which is literally a yo-yo. You can throw it to break like sharp obstacles. Some like spikes in the ground or whatever will break to a yo-yo. And then there's some animals that you can control with a yo-yo. You could get them to go where you're going with a yo-yo, right? It's almost like you have to hypnotize them. There is this like disc where it's like you literally throw this frisbee and it'll break stuff, but you could also hop onto it if you time it right and use it as a platform to get across like locations. There is also this like end game tool that you get called like a lantern, which lets you turn on a lantern specifically. And that might not seem like a big deal, but that helps you combat some enemies and helps you reveal rooms that are actually dark rooms. There's like dark rooms that you could barely see in them, right? Then there's something called a UV light. Now I'm getting into like the end game tools. The UV light is the same thing as a lantern, but it has a light that has there's codes in the world that you wouldn't see under regular lighting unless you hold a UV light to them. Then there's something called a wheel, which you literally turn into like a wheel, like almost like a hamster, and you like go around the world on these spikes with this wheel, right? And you know, I think there's a bunch of other. I don't want to go too much because I don't want to like spoil them, but there's more tools that you discover, and you're like, oh, I guess this is what you could do with this, right? There's a tool that is actually a tool that you find in the base game before you like beat the game. It's not like an end game tool, but it has a lot of end game functionality. It's a flute. It's literally a flute, and you play a note on it, right? And you change the direction, and then that's like the code for the note, and it does different things. And I don't want to spoil the things it does, but it like takes you to different shortcuts and stuff like that. If you don't want to know where this game goes, I would just skip this part of the podcast. But I'm gonna literally spoil how deep this Metroidvania gets. After you get all 16 rabbits, you have to go and literally decipher a 64-note song using one map location, a UV light, coming back to where your eggs are, turning on the UV light, deciphering this code. You have to play a 65 note song to get the last rabbit. Insane. The guy who deciphered it, I'm like, even now, I don't know how to decipher it. Even after you tell me this is what I have to do, I don't know how to decipher it. Once you get the 16 rabbit, bro, get ready for this. You go to like this computer.
Wait, that was what rabbit was that? That was rabbit 11, right?
No, I skipped like rabbit 12 to 14, but they're all a little complicated, or 12 to 15. The 16th is after you get all 15. And then you have to go play this flute song, and you have to have all 65 eggs. Then you go to this room, this office room. You get this office key, and go to this office room. You get the last rabbit, and there's a computer. Bro, the computer, I kid you not, if you're playing on PC and you're connected to a printer, sends you information to print out origami from your printer.
What?
You have to print out this origami. You have to make these animal shapes with this origami paper. And it gives you a code or whatever. And you have to use this code and the UV light to decipher another code in that room. Bro, and then you have to solve a binary code. And then you go to this end game world where all the rabbits you've collected are there. And you have to use the motion that the rabbits hop around each of their stationary areas to decipher the binary code, which binary code meets what. I don't even know how to explain it to you unless you watch a guide. And then you use that to hop into this other animal. And you have to go through screens going left, right, up, down, based on the code you just deciphered. Or it's way more complicated than this. To finally get to a place where you then can unlock the final kind of tool, which is this ability to fly around the world. Then there's like more secrets after that. And then there's like
so it's not even done.
It's not even done. There is this language, a secret language that exists in
the
the
game. The guy's created a secret language of this game.
There's a secret language in the game that I never came across ever once, but you come across by doing specific actions in the world that decipher this code for this secret language, and you have to figure out what the secret language means. Bro, I don't know what to tell you. It gets so bizarre. And the last finale, and this is a spoiler for everyone who thinks who can actually solve this on your own, you never will. If I spent 200 years or you spent the rest of my life trying to figure this out, I would never figure it out. The last finale kind of collectible thing that you could do is you find this time capsule where Billy Basso, the developer, basically has an audio log that you listen to where he says, hey, congratulations on making it this part of the game. I didn't think anybody would ever make it here. I didn't design it to ever be solved, or something like that. And see you in Animal World 2. So basically... Backtrack. I was at Rabbit 11 and I was like, I'm going to do everything in this game. Then when I was at Rabbit 11, I saw the platforming was crazy. I was like, let me just watch the rest of this guide to see how crazy this game gets. I watched the rest of the video, right? For this guy who did 100% run. at the end of the video, I was like, oh, I understand where this game is going. There is no chance. That's okay. I'm not going to play this game anymore. I'm quite content with peeling back layer 5 of this Metroidvania. I'm happy that I now understand there's layer 6, 7, 8, but I'm not interested in actually beating it or doing it. I'm like, I'm
That
quite
is
okay
fair.
with leaving it here. So I stopped and I'm like, that was a great experience. That was mind blowing where this game went. But okay, I'll call it quits here. So
Dude, when a
it was
game
insane.
introduces a jump quest, like a skill-based jump quest, you can guarantee I can guarantee I'm just going to give up.
It's
I do
like
not have the patience. I actually get so angry when there's like a intense like platforming section where if you fall off, you restart again.
I'm like okay with those, but this was not that. This was a platforming section that didn't really exist. It was a bizarre platforming section. It was the secret door that you only unlock by doing something. And then what happens is there's a function in the game where there's temporary platforms and there's permanent platforms. If you stand on a permanent platform and then fall in water and die, you don't actually die when you fall in water. It actually like takes you back to the last permanent platform you were standing on. So what you have to do is stand on this permanent platform past the secret door and proceed to do a combination of things whereby you never touch a permanent platform. You're always touching temporary platforms, whether it's your bubbles, your disc, or other temporary platforms in the game, until you get to a place in the map that has water, and then you intentionally fall and die so that it transports you back to the door after it's open. The last permanent platform you stepped on was the past the secret door. Do you get kind of what I'm saying? Like, it's
Mhm.
bizarre. Like, if you step on it, yeah, it was platforming that wasn't real. It didn't exist in the game. It was
Like you had to create
bizarre.
your own platforms in order to get to that
Yeah, it was bizarre.
that permanent platform,
Yeah, it
basically.
was bizarre. It was insane. Dude, there was one where one of the rabbits was a community puzzle. There's this like 100 by 50 grid, and there was this control panel where you can change each box on the grid to a color: dark blue, light blue, white, red. And each person apparently in their game had a unique 4x4 grid. It was supposed to be a community puzzle that obviously got solved like 2 weeks after the game came out, where each person was supposed to understand where their grid went and fill it out. And then there was like a full picture of a rabbit. I obviously just went on the guide and got the full picture, and it still took me like 15 minutes to do this freaking grid. And I still did it to get one of the rabbits.
Jeez.
That was like maybe rabbit number 9. And I'm like, this is getting ridiculous. Bro, it's insane. This guy's a genius. It almost reminds me, I know it's a different genre, but it reminds me of the genius that the Balatro developer is. But it's insane how they could have this kind of level, this tier. But if you stop at Metroidvania level 4 or Metroidvania level 5 or even 3 if you want to, I think you got your fix from the game. And it's a really good game, and I can't recommend it enough. It's so good. The art style, the vibe, everything. I mean, I'm so happy I played this game. Sorry, it's not on PS Plus anymore, but it might even go back and change like some of my rankings from last year for this game. Like, that's how good it was. That's Animal Well. Yeah. So rolled credits and got the platinum on Animal Well. We could talk about the game that me and you have both been playing now. And that was the
Yeah.
game I kind of alluded to last week and said it's gotten really good reviews. And that is Blueprints, which is both on Game Pass and PS Plus Essential. I've played about 2 hours of Blueprints, and you have
I'm on day 23.
how many hours
So
is
that
that?
works out to be, I'm like at least 8 hours in or something wild like
Okay.
that. Maybe not
Okay.
8, like maybe between 5 and 8.
Okay. I'm going to let you take the lead then because you're ahead of me. Because I think I'm like 3 hours into this game.
Okay, sure. So why don't we give, I guess, a bit of background to what you're doing first? I'm gonna pull up a thing because I'm fried. Like I don't know the names of whatever, like the name of your character, because really when you date when you're day 22, everything kind of like mends together.
So
So it's
I
a
guess, yeah,
go
go
for it.
ahead. Or,
Okay,
yeah,
so it's a puzzle game basically. Um, so you play as what is it, Simon P. Jones or something like that.
something like that.
Basically, what happens is that you inherit this like mansion that is very special. All the rooms kind of shuffle around every single day. Um, And the main reason why you need to figure out all of these rooms and find all of these rooms is because when you find the 46th room, you get to claim the mansion as your own. So really, it's a story about you inheriting this mansion once you actually beat the game or
Yeah.
find the 46th room.
So you
per
inherit
se.
it from your great uncle who says,
Yeah.
I'm leaving this to you, my great nephew, but on one condition, you have to find room 46 in this 45 room mansion.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So should we kind of go through each kind of run or what the day looks
Yeah,
like?
so it's a roguelike, right? Which is interesting. It's a roguelike first person puzzle game. It's a
Mm-hmm.
first person puzzle game in the same way kind of Talos Principle is or Maquette or like Superliminal or like games like that or like The Witness or something like that, but it's a roguelike, so it's not the same. And you have to find this 46th room in a day.
Mm-hmm.
So it restarts days, and basically the house is built on a 5
By 9, I think,
by
right?
9,
5 by
right?
9 or 10.
5 by 9 because it's 40 not 45 rooms and you have to find the 46.
Yeah.
And you have technically your day is over after you run out of steps, and you have 50 steps every day. You could get more by going into specific rooms, or you could get less by going into specific room by backtracking into rooms, or every time you go to a new
Yep.
room, you lose a
Backtracking
step.
or certain rooms will cause you to lose steps.
A step. So you have 50 days to find room 56 or room 46, unless, and then it resets, right? You have to call it a day and go back from scratch. Essentially, the rooms change every time, and you have to be the one who governs how they change. You have to do this thing called drafting. So
Mm-hmm.
you enter the main hallway that you start off with, and then you draft a room on either your right door, your left door, or your front door.
Yeah.
And there's
Assuming you get you're assuming you're in a room with 3 doors. There are a lot of rooms with no exit.
no exit. Yeah, but I'm talking about the main corridor that you get in,
Yep.
right?
Yeah.
So if the main corridor is block 1 on the first row in the middle, you have 2 possible rooms to your side, 2 possible rooms to your left, and then infinite amount in front of you, right? But depending on the rooms you draft. So you draft like 1 of 3 rooms, you have to pick one to draw. That's going to be the room you go in. Each room has a different function. There's different room categories. There's like blue rooms and red rooms and orange rooms, which are corridors. There's green rooms. There's like higher tier rooms that you only draft the more you kind of play. And you have to do a combination of and basically the way a run ends, and correct me if you're experiencing different things, is it's almost like you run out of options. You kind of box yourself in. You draft the wrong rooms whereby there's no exits, or you draft them in the wrong pattern whereby now, even though a room has an exit, it doesn't really because it's up against another room. It doesn't have an
Or
entrance.
you have no more keys to further unlock any rooms.
That too, yeah. I experienced that last night where I
Mm-hmm.
had a way forward, but I ran out of keys, and there was no keys in the world to unlock anymore.
Or you run out of steps and it forces you to restart a brand new day.
Restart a brand new day, you run out of steps. So I honestly have never run out of steps yet.
Okay, yeah.
I feel like I'm so early
you were
on.
only a few days in, yeah.
Yeah. And then I feel like a lot of rooms don't really have a lot to do, actually. There's just maybe a few collectibles or whatever. Or might be one note or something you read, where then there's like other rooms that are like more complex, like the laboratory or stuff like that.
Yeah, there's like a few puzzle rooms. Well, I've only run into 2, where you actually have to try and solve a puzzle. You have to solve a very evident puzzle. And then there's other rooms with secrets, which also like is a puzzle, but it's more so hidden.
Subtle.
Yeah, it's very subtle. Or like there's a chest there and it's there, but the answer sometimes isn't in that room. Kind of situation. There's also the outside, which you probably haven't.
I have. Well, I went outside on one of my early runs, and I'm like, there's stuff to do out here. I just haven't figured out what they are.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's like different gates and fences and gardens and looks like mine entrances and stuff like that. There seems to be some insane depth in this game, right? But I haven't scratched the surface. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm a little bit further, and there is a lot of interesting things, and I can see where the developer is going with it, but it is very frustrating to me.
I was going to ask you how you were feeling because now that you're further ahead, I am not really feeling this game. I'm really trying to suffer through it right now.
Yeah. So I'll give you my experience because I'm a little bit further. So like I launched it, I played like 3 days, and I was like, I hate this game. Like the puzzles are very like scattered throughout. So I was already like, man, can this puzzle seriously be self-contained in this room? There are some that are, but like I feel like a lot of the rooms, like you see something and you're like, there's a there's a puzzle to this. Like, why is it not in this room?
Yeah.
And then sometimes I'm like, oh, those two rooms are supposed to go together. But then you can't, because it's randomized every single day. Sometimes you don't get the luck of the draw to draw these two rooms back to back, right?
Yeah. It's like I didn't get the drafting option to do this. Like, how am I supposed to do this?
Yeah. Or there's some that like you understand the puzzle and like you have enough, but there's a higher tier of room that you literally like cannot get or like you haven't found yet, which is super frustrating as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And then sometimes you find that higher tier of room and it like changes the scenario in some room that you've already like I've done that a few times where I draft a room and I'm like, oh, this room never has anything anyway. I'm just drafting it to get an exit to the whatever. And then the one time it will have something different that it previously didn't have just because I've drafted another room that I previously haven't drafted or whatever.
Yeah. So then by day 3, I was like, ah, screw this. I'm like kind of not feeling it. Took a break, came back, and then I had a high. That's when I finished like 10 rooms in like one sitting. I discovered a few things like, so there's things that you can unlock that help permanently upgrade the drafts that you get. So like instead of 2 keys, it'll give you 3 keys, or instead of 1 gem, it'll give you 2 gems, like little smaller bonuses like that. Gems are used, to draft like higher tier rooms. So like some of them require 3 gems to actually like develop this room, or like 2 gems. Um, so yeah, that helped a lot with certain things. I kind of understood. So there's like little computer consoles in certain rooms. So I've kind of like discovered how to use them a little bit more, or like the puzzle behind that. And then I also discovered how to access one of the rooms outside
Ooh,
of
okay.
the mansion. So like those things helped a lot. So I had like a really high time. I'm like, oh, maybe I'll actually finish this game. Like this is actually getting interesting now. And then from like, what is it, day 20 onwards, or like even like 18 onwards, I like fell back into a slump where I'm like, I literally cannot figure out some of these puzzles. Like it's getting annoying again. It's gone back to the point where like I'm plateaued in like the things I'm finding. So as of like right before we started recording, I played like another few days, and I was like, I'm done. I uninstalled.
Really?
Yeah. Like it was just getting so frustrating. Like it's so repetitive because
Yeah.
even though you discover these new rooms, sometimes the odds of it coming up in terms of you drafting it is
It's
very,
so
very
low.
slim.
It's so low. Like I
And
discovered the
usually
observer.
it's like, so um I find that as you progress further into the mansion towards the antechamber, which is like kind of like a secret room. I don't know what's inside of it, but the one of the main things is you want to enter it. Those special rooms kind of come up more often, as well as if you unlock the library room. I don't know if you've unlocked that
I've
yet.
never come across a library yet. No.
Yeah, so when you unlock that, that one also gives you more like rare designs, so that helps as well. But yeah, basically at the end of it, I've gotten as close to technically seeing the door of the antechamber room,
Mm,
but there is a puzzle related to it
that you haven't.
that prevents you from entering it.
Yeah, I'm not anywhere near there, brother. I think I was like 3 rows away from the antechamber room is the best
Yeah.
I've got.
Yeah, so don't even bother trying to get the antechamber room until you figure out a way to open that door for it. I did find a way to open the door, but I just haven't had the RNG luck in order to find the lever that opens that special door, and then also the RNG luck to like build a path all the way to the antechamber room.
Yeah.
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 Like
like the game, I couldn't tell seems genius, and I could tell the puzzle seemed genius, and I could tell the solution is great, and I could tell the depth of the game is great. I could physically see that, but I
Mhm.
can't scratch the surface to get to that because I just feel like I'm stuck with this stupid cycle of like I have to draft these rooms, and I've drafted this room 1,000 times, and I'm just bored, and I don't want to see this anymore. And it's like, well, I get to a certain point, oh well, I blocked myself off. I didn't draft the right rooms, or I didn't get the right options, or it's like I had one path forward and I got 3 options and all of them were dead ends. Boo-hoo. What do I do? And I start again. And then it's like, well, and it's like, well, let me draft the same freaking corridor and the same hallway and the same kitchen
Yeah.
and the same pantry and the same, guest living room and the same, or guest bedroom. And it's like, I'm just like, yeah,
And the
I don't know.
items aren't even that useful. Like I actually hate it when those items like you find, but then you find them too late sometimes,
Yeah.
or you find them and they're not useful. Like in that aspect. Like I found. So I don't know. Did you find the garage?
No,
So
I've never
in
seen
the
the garage.
garage there is a car. Sometimes you find the car keys, but sometimes you find the car keys and you do not have space to build a garage, or the garage never comes up.
I've found the car keys.
Yeah. So like
I've found the
I've
car keys
I've
multiple times
I found the car keys multiple times, but I have yet to find the car keys, build
in
the
the right
garage, and open up the friggin' car
in the same run.
in the same run. It drives me insane. Like I know it's there. Like can you up the drop rate of this key, or can you uprate the some of these items just never show up on your run. Like there's a shovel. Sometimes it shows up, sometimes it doesn't.
Or sometimes you
Like
could buy it. Like I've bought it, and then sometimes it's like, you could like make a request and order for specific
yeah,
items.
yeah,
Yeah, but it's like, well, I can, and then I pick it up, and it's like, well, I don't need it that day or
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. And like there's have you run into like the security doors like that
Yeah,
need a key pass?
yeah, you need a
Yeah,
card
so they
key.
have another way to access those doors without you having the key pass, which is
You could
great,
turn,
but like
you could turn it
it
off.
doesn't. Yeah, yeah, you can
Yeah,
turn it off in the security room or
in the
whatever.
security room. Yeah,
But like it's just so frustrating, like not being able to find that item that you want so that you can unlock another piece of this puzzle so that you can continue this game.
it's like this weird thing where it's like I know how to solve some of these puzzles now, but it's just not, the rooms are not. I'm not punching
Yeah,
the right numbers
aligned,
for the rooms.
right?
Yeah, I don't know. It's like it's a weird choice, this roguelike thing of making this game. And I could see this is a very good game. I can tell it's a very good game. I can tell the puzzles there are insane. I could tell the end game is probably wild. I could tell the final reveal and the depth to it and the specific secrets are like eureka moments. But I just can't scratch that surface because I'm stuck behind this stupid cycle of putting out these stupid rooms. And then it's like I never get the good room that I want. And then I just get them all in the wrong order. And my floor plan's just a mess. And now I got to backtrack to go unlock this chest to get this key. And now I lost 10 footsteps. And then I'm like always sitting like, it's like I have no way of, there's like, I feel like because you're limited with this choice of like 3 rooms and it's like, there's no way of having the foresight to know that, oh, actually drawing this room is going to be a problem for me down the line. I should have done this or whatever. Right. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? It's like, there'll be like a special room and it's like, well, do I really want this special room and then you end up like doing a hallway instead because you're worried you're going to get blocked off or
Yeah.
something.
So I was reading like some hints. Like people are saying like you should just your first thing that you should focus on is just building as many new rooms as you can.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter how you do it, but like I've gotten to the point where I've kind of mastered drafting it. Like I can pretty much easily draft all the way up to like level 8. I'm just like really just the certain frustrations. And then also, do you find that your player movement speed is so slow, like walking around?
I find it's okay when I'm looking, but once I get to a point where I'm like trying to solve something and I need to backtrack to rooms,
Mhm.
or it's like I know what I need to do, it's just sitting there. Like I was in the observatory the other day with the telescope and just trying to rotate the thing, and there's like no jump button, so you can't get off a ledge. You have to go all the way back down the stairs, and you
Yeah,
have to
yeah,
all the
and then
going back up.
you can't like take a shortcut through the stairs too. You have to actually like walk to the beginning of the stairs and walk up.
Yeah, that was kind of frustrating too. I found that.
Yeah, so like when you get to day 20 and you're like trying to like walk outside or walk back to these rooms and like find things, like oh my god, like can you have like a fast travel button so that I can just hop back to the room? Like you can do the math on the footsteps. I don't care, but like stop wasting my time walking through these exact same rooms over and over again.
Yeah, or
Because
like
then you grab
freaking.
the thing and then now you have to like walk all the way back.
And then
And like,
sometimes I go through the wrong door. I'll go through the wrong door, and then I'm like, oh, this is the wrong room. And then I'll come back, and then I lost 2 footsteps for like crossing the border of that room.
mhm.
I don't know. This game it's almost made me just want to go play the Talos Principle instead or something. I really love the art style. I really love the vibe, but
Yeah,
yeah.
I love that it's like kind of like a mystery, but like there needs to be, I don't know. I feel like it would benefit from like give me a story mode. Give me like a hint. Like I don't care if I don't even care. Like I think the story is fascinating enough that like I would want to play through it for if as long as it's not like crazy annoying um to like kind of find out the secrets. But like man, is it really ever the level of annoying that they put in front of you like just stacks up,
I
you
think
know?
like what you said, it really seems like the vibe right now is the only thing with me so early in the game. The only option I have is to go through this brutal cycle of drawing these same rooms and trying to my best not to block myself in hope that I'm gonna draw some new rooms and learn some new room stuff and keep doing this cycle until I've like learned enough of these new rooms that I know what they do, that then like I get to a cycle where I'm like, okay, this is what I'm gonna do. I cannot help but compare it to like Balatro, which is a roguelike as well, where doing specific things unlocks jokers for you to buy in the store. Because in Balatro, you can't just get every item when you start the game. There are some items, some jokers, for example, that are locked behind amount of progression that you do in the game to then find this joker later on one of your runs, right?
Mhm.
But in the process of just playing Balatro over and over again and doing a cycle and doing cycle, it makes that like finding those endgame jokers a passive project more like, because you're still actually having fun playing the cycle and you still have a chance from the beginning, from the get-go of that game, you still have a chance of winning a run. You could win like red deck or blue deck white stake from the get-go, right? So it's
Mhm.
nice. You feel like you're making this progression while you're unlocking more things to make more progression. Whereas this, I just feel like the progression is let's just try and see how many new rooms I could get, and then let's do it again and see how many new rooms I could get, and then maybe try and figure out what the puzzle is or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah. There's no like mini dopamine hits from like your score getting counted up too,
Yeah.
right? So like it just feels like a grind where you're just trying to like look out for things in the puzzle and like try and yeah, it's just like too much of a grind, I feel.
And then sometimes I check out. I'm like doing something and I'm just like checking out because it's like I've seen this room 1,000 times. Or I want to draw the new room, but the new room will like box me off. So instead I draw like a hallway or whatever. I don't know. I feel really weird about this game. I'm gonna give it a little bit more time, but I'm on the verge of just dropping it.
Yeah, I do not agree that this is a 90% score game for me personally. I can see how some people that like love these puzzle games like can give it a like can give it a high score because yeah, some of these puzzles are very very intricate where you have to like go to the boiler room and then do this and then do
Yeah.
that and then and you do the experiment in laboratory and it opens up something, or like there's a nuclear shelter where I'm sure that you in the lab I think you can raise like the radiation level and then it opens
Yeah.
something.
Something like
Like there's a lot of like things like that, but like in order for it all to line up, it's just frustrating for me.
for me, it's not like that this game is not a 9-3. I just feel like I'm not getting to a point or a place in time where I can actually make a reasonable call on that. I don't know, man. Blueprints, anything else?
No, I just give it another try for you, but I think I'm done.
You're
Like
done,
I
huh?
had my high, and then I'm back down to the low, below low, and I'm done.
I feel like I had that also with Balatro. Like I had the original high, and then I feel like I hit like a plateau, and then I got like the other high, and now I feel like I hit a plateau again.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I don't know. Blueprints. I mean, give it a try. I mean, it's on Game Pass and it's on PS Plus Extra, the middle tier. So not a bad way to give it a try. And if you don't want if you want to play a puzzle game, the Talos Principle Reawakening, like the remaster of the first Talos Principle, just dropped and it's like 90 on Metacritic. So
yeah. It might make more sense for a puzzle game.
yeah. Anyways, that is it for the Slow Run cast for Sunday, April 20th. Maybe you'll be playing the Oblivion remake tomorrow if the rumors are true.
No,
But
I'm gonna go celebrate with the Easter Bunny and Snoop Dogg right now.
oh yeah, that's true because
Yeah.
420 Easter 420. Interesting. I just
Just
realized that.
kidding, though.
Easter 420. All right, say bye, Dawood. Say bye. Say bye, Slow Run cast. Say I'll see you soon.